recorded. This is the Red Ticket Blues Podcast. I am Brian Buckley. This is being recorded on October 28th to hit the internets on October 29th. How's everyone doing? You can always listen to the show on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, and follow me at BrianBuck13 and follow the show at Red Ticket Blues on Twitter. So this is normally where we would do the Thursday talk, and we had scheduled Joe Giglio of a sports talk show host, 94 WIP in Philadelphia, and a contributor to NJ.com. Joe had something very urgent that he had to take care of last second, so he will not be with us. But the show must go on. Oh, we bailed on... He did not bail on me, because I'll tell you what, if he bailed on me, there'd be hell to pay. You don't fuck with the Red Ticket Blues. You don't fuck with the Lords of Hell. You don't fuck with the babysitter, okay? So... we will have Joe on in the very near future, and just unfortunately, it didn't happen today. But I gave you an interview already this week. What more can you ask for, okay? I'm just a simple man with a simple podcast. I brought you a New York Times bestselling author, Jeff Pearlman, on Monday. So if you didn't hear that, definitely check that out. We went through all of his books, including The Bad Guys 1, the story of the 1986 New York Mets, and he gave you some inside details that I thought it was a great podcast. I thought he was a great guest. I think candid would be quite an understatement. So I gave you one interview. We just sort of switched it around this week. So again, if you haven't checked that out, definitely worth your time to listen to Jeff Pearlman. I don't know why it's not on TuneIn Radio. I don't know what I'm doing. But it's on Stitcher and iTunes. So definitely check those out. Because I wasn't planning on doing an actual podcast just by myself this week, it's going to be a quick podcast. Yes, I've said that before, and normally when I say that, you can set your timer for about 45 minutes, and then the podcast is over. But I thought I'd interview myself. So, Brian, welcome to the show. Yes, I was born in Meriden, Connecticut, 1980. We lost John Lennon, but we gained Brian Buckley, right? No, I got a hodgepodge of stuff to just go over. Again, quick podcast, so you can, so I can get to the World Series games, which starts in 13 minutes. World Series Game 2 will have already concluded by the time you hear this, but the first game, it was a memorable game. It was a very good game. World Series Game 1, obviously, the Royals take it in 14 godforsaken innings against the Mets 5-4. Let's see. It's proof God hates us, because he made us stay up to 1 o'clock in the morning to watch a baseball game for it to end on the most boring of plays whatsoever, the always exciting sacrifice fly. But the Royals take it home, and the Mets had opportunities here. They squandered them. I mean, it didn't start off well. Cespedes, I don't want to say he was hot-dogging it, but he was being lazy out there. Inside the park home run on the first play of the game. Put the Mets in a hole. Well, I wouldn't say they got out of because the game was... They were up. What am I talking about? They were 2 outs away from winning the game. Matt Harvey was... Listen, he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't the ace he is portrayed to be. He wasn't the game... He wasn't the stopper. He wasn't the ace. He wasn't the bulldog. There was a delay in the game. We all know the delay. The power went out. Oh, who pulled the power? Was it that guy from Airplane? It must have been. What do you make out of this? I can make a hat. So the power, the feed to it, not the power. It wasn't a Super Bowl situation where the lights went out, but the feed from Fox to the viewers went out. So they stopped the game. Did they really need to stop the game? They want to make the excuse that there was no way they could contact New York if there was an instant replay. I don't know if I really buy that. I'm pretty sure there are cameras rolling, and I'm pretty sure there's a cell phone or two in the stadium if it really came down to that. I don't have any inside knowledge of this, but I think it was more about losing money and viewers. So they didn't want to have the viewers miss any part of the game, which makes sense. I'm just saying. What else happened in the game? Lorenzo Cain with a failed attempt at bunting. David Wright had a big error. Eric Hosmer had a big error that looked to be the game's, how the winning run for the Mets came in. But Alex Gordon hits a home run off Mr. Familia at the end of the game, the Mets closer. And Familia, we don't really talk about it. He's got a little bit of cockiness to him. It's nothing major. But, he's got his tight uniform, and he likes to move and strut barrel-chested, always smiling. He got a little dose of reality, and I think the Mets got a little dose of reality last night. These aren't the Cubs. These aren't the Dodgers. This is a gritty team that grinds. Like Joe Buck was just on Grinder, which I don't know what that meant when he said that. How about when the power went out, and Buck and Harold Reynolds and Tom Verducci... they weren't the ones, doing the game anymore. You had the B team, Matt Veskurgen and John Smoltz doing the game, which I found to be quite enjoyable. Then when their feed came back, they just sort of like came in and just said, hey, get out. Get out, test pilots. The pilots are here. And I think it's very trendy. I've said this before to say, Buck sucks. Joe Buck sucks. Because he's the number one sportscaster in the entire country. Do I think he's great? No, not really. Do I hate him? Not by any stretch of the imagination. Harold Reynolds will give you a nugget of goodness sometimes, and then the next time he's just going on something stupid. And Tom Verducci, talk about an excitable boy. That guy is excited with anything that happens. You could show him a tree. You could show him anything. Oh, look at email! Wow! It does not take much for Tom Verducci to act like he just saw some sort of Halley's Comet equivalent. Guy is very easily impressed. You should listen to this podcast. You probably think it's the best thing in the world. But you saw Joe Torre. I don't even, is he even in charge of that? I thought he was like the player's discipline czar. Maybe he wears many hats. I don't know. But he looked quite lost and old, like he was in space when that whole thing was going on. Like those videos where they wake an old person up on YouTube and just that look of complete shock and disbelief. Actually, you probably shouldn't be doing that to older people. You don't really want to get a heart attack and die. Yeah, no one likes that. What else happened in that game? Edison Volquez for the Royals pitcher. His father died before the game, and this was the great big caper of the day. If he knew, if he didn't know, should they say something? Now, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of hot takes on this. And, when it initially happened, I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? So Volquez comes out of the game, and Buck says, we have a responsibility not to say anything, and so we will tell you now. Even though, Ken Rosenthal and all other Fox employees are tweeting the whole time that he's dead. The father of Edison Volquez is dead. They said they didn't want to say it because there's a TV in the clubhouse. They could have easily said it while he was on the mound, not between innings, or at the same time. How did Wilmer Flores find out he was traded again, or thought he was traded? Oh, yeah, by Twitter. And the whole crowd knew. So, I don't know. I realized there's two different situations. They just started chanting Wilmer Flores' name because they were... It's a different situation. I understand that. I'm not saying I know the perfect solution, but it seemed like Fox went out of their way to pat themselves on the back and say, we have integrity. Now look at the people we have in our analyst booth. Pete Rose, Alex Rodriguez. I did not see much... I don't see any of the pre- and post-game because I don't have cable. Why, you say? Why? Because I like saving the money. So I actually stream from MLB. So I don't actually see anything. It doesn't go until it's ready to go on the fan. It says waiting for game to start. And when the game starts, it's on. There is no pre-game. There's no post-game. I don't hear takes. And I've heard Alex Rodriguez actually during the game, and I've seen videos. Listen, the guy's good at what he does. I mean, part of being an analyst on TV is show business. And let's face it. That's Alex Rodriguez. He's show business. He's putting out an image, just like anyone else. It's part of the job is being phony. I don't want to make this, let's pile on A-Rod. The guy does a good job at what, he knows baseball. So I think he's going to fit in well there if he decides to do that after his career. A lot of people say he has a future in managing. I'm not so sure. I'm not sure how many people want the distraction of Alex Rodriguez as their manager, unless you really need to sell tickets and people are going to come see a guy come out of the dugout every once in a while to make a pitching change. That doesn't make me want to go to a game. I've never said, man, I want to go to the game tonight. I want to see Joe Girardi pull in for a right-hander. I can't wait to see that. That really gets me going, bro. But a great game one. A great game one. And again, I'm sort of at a disadvantage here with the podcast. I don't know what's going to happen in game two. And by the time this is over, I have a feeling the Mets are going to win tonight. I think it's going to be 1-1 going back to New York. But we will see. We will see. We'll switch gears to football. And Jason Pierre-Paul back with the Giants and his mangled ginger-looking hand. Not Ginger the root. Yeah, Ginger the root, not the hair color of evil people. But no one really knows what you're going to expect from Jason Pierre-Paul. I guess he could still lock people up with those big arms, but when you start to come down to grabbing people with fingers, he's going to be at a disadvantage. What else really? I mean, I go over football now. It's kind of like we saw what happened last week. It's kind of old news is what I'm trying to say. I do like Sammy Watkins, wide receiver of the Bills, had a nice Instagram post for all the, all his big fans out there, all the people that, go to games, pay his salary. I know that's a cheap fan thing. I pay your salary, but it's the truth. Buy his jersey and everything. So he had a really nice message on it. I guess some were giving him a hard time about his injury, and this is what he said on Instagram. This is very nice, very nice. To all the people that have a problem with me being injured, you guys go out there and play this sport. It's 100% injury rate. I'm not first or last person, forgot the A, last person that's gone, be injured difference from me and you guys. Y'all mad and I'm not. Get a life and go to work. Stop worrying about my job because I'm good on this end and forever will be losers. Most of you just wish to be in this position. So continue working y'all little jobs for the rest of y'all lives since everyone wants, it says wants, I think it's wants, a response. Here, go have one. Have a blessed day. So talk about disconnected. Sammy Watkins not winning anyone over there. And by the way, Sammy Watkins has done shit in the NFL. I mean, he's a talented player, but in the whole grand scheme of things, guess what Sammy Watkins has done? Barely anything. And already calling out the fans. It's a fight you're never going to win, calling out the fans. The fans' win percentage rate against players, disgruntled players, is 1,000%. 1,000%. Players coach, Rex Ryan. No discipline issues on that team. They're all one cohesive unit. My fucking ass. Here's a non-sports story today. This is where the podcast is headed at this point. I got a haircut today. Yeah, I got a haircut. Decided to go to a barbershop in Hamden called Harry's Barbershop. And I've been there before. It's not the first time I've ever been there. I go to barbershops downtown sometimes near Yale. But, they're not the old time barbershops. They're a barbershop, but you get the Yale students coming in there. And I just get angry when I look at them. So, and they usually want some sort of, not all the time, but they have some story. And I just don't like it. And the guy always doesn't cut my hair long enough. But this is besides the point. I'm not going to name the name of the place. But Harry's is, a slice of Americana. It is in Hamden, Connecticut. And it's the kind of place you don't really know the hours. They always change. And I don't trust the ones that are online because those hours could be completely off. Try calling. Good luck because no one's picking up that phone. I've been on both sides of that. I've been in the barbershop when he doesn't answer the phone, and I've been on the phone calling as it just rings eternalistly. That eternally making up words, Red Ticket Blues. So when you walk in, there's two barber chairs. One is never in use. It just holds things. It's just sort of like a junk drawer, but in chair form. It's the kind of place where, you got the local newspaper, you have some fishing magazines, and there's Playboys abound. Now, I've always found it interesting how in shops like, mostly barbershops, I don't know where else a Playboy is going to be left out, and that's going to be the norm. Maybe Tim Watley's office. But I always like the way that men pick them up, and they try to peruse them as if it's like some sort of serious reading material. Like, pick it up. And then they look at, the centerfold there as if it's like, some sort of, with the furrowed brow, looking down on it as if it's some sort of, Wall Street Journal intense article. Oh, yes, she wanted to be a gymnast. Oh, okay. All right. And she really loves jazzercise. Wow. Well, this is wild stuff. Always interesting. So, and obviously it's an old time barbershop, so there's all sorts of catchy, old man slogans in places. And this one is hardcore conservative. Barack Obama would not be welcome in there. Actually, they say that, but if a president ever walked in the barbershop, they'd stop everything and take care of him. But it is a place that is quite conservative. And I don't know if the guy's name is Harry, but it's Harry's. He has a long Wolfman-like beard, and he is a miserable son of a bitch. Absolutely miserable. He breathes very deeply. He's got to have like emphysema or something. I don't know. But he breathes down you when he's cutting the hair. And you get in that chair every time. He's, "What can I do for you there, young fella?" No matter how old you are, whether you're 80 years old or you're 9 years old, that is the response you get. So I was waiting to get my hair cut. I think it was some Quinnipiac student that was in front of me. And he's like, "What can I do there for you, young fella?" And as the guy's getting in the chair, he's like, maybe some sort of like edge up or something. And he just looks at me and goes, "We don't do edge ups. You want that?" And then he names some other barbershop, "Go down that way. Can't help you there." And the guy goes, "Oh, okay, so whatever." And it was just me left in the barbershop. He closed the door for the day, locked the door, pulled down the blinds, and looks at me and goes, "Edge up. Get the fuck out of here." Then he went on to trash anyone that asked such stupid questions, and you got the sense of a real just old-time barbershop. Old-time barbershop. Hey, Playboys everywhere. I mean, that's when you know. Interesting story. Caveat to that. I remember years ago, speaking of men looking at Playboys or whatever as if they're legitimate reading material. So I remember that my friend who's passed away, we went to we were at the Meriden Mall at Walden Books. Is that what it was called? Or Barnes and Noble, whatever. And we were looking at magazines, and we saw this guy pick up a Penthouse. Yeah, he's probably like in his 30s or something. And he actually took it out of the wrapper, and he's looking at the Penthouse. So, we're like, 11, 12, 13, laughing at him. We're not doing it that loud. We're being to ourselves. And then eventually we got a little louder, and we said, let's see what we got for magazines here, huh? Sports Illustrated, look at this. Oh, there's a baseball card, a Beckett baseball cards. Any Penthouses around here? And he started giving us looks, and we laughed, and I think he had had enough. I'm sure he didn't enjoy going to the mall and being razzed by preteens or early teens. So he put it back in the wrapper and then walked out. We proceeded it was only 10 minutes, but we proceeded to follow him around the mall, yelling, "Penthouse!" And, he walked out of there like he was some sort of pervert. He tried to get out of there like one of the suspects in To Catch a Predator. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with us doing that, but yes, we did do that. I don't know why I told that story, but good guy, Steve Heck. Definitely miss him. Let's see. Going back to baseball for a second, Derek Jeter the rumors are he is marrying model Hannah Davis, the DirecTV Genie horse friend. The great Steve Summers, an icon of sports radio, especially in New York City here, just on the radio as I was coming home. So he's off the field here. He's off the market, so to speak. Is he marrying Hannah Davis or adopting her? It's a good line out of Steve. He is 40, and she is 22. So he could be her father. But Jeter, hey, we all know that he's a legend on the field and off the field. So I think it probably puts to rest a lot of rumors possibly about Derek Jeter. Or maybe those keep going. Who knows? NBA is back in full swing. Started last night. LeBron tried to take it to the hoop against the Bulls. Last second shot and was rejected by Pau Gasol. Hey, you gotta love that. But I am not watching any NBA. I'm not buying the NBA package until baseball is done. The season is too goddamn long. I'm sorry. I don't care. So all these people getting excited. Oh, I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see. Really? You can't wait to see game 2 or 3 of an 82-game season where half the fucking league makes the playoffs? Yeah, I just can't wait to see that. Whew. We had a runaway blimp today. People, we love things that run away. What is up? What is up with that? We're so fascinated by that. Military blimp was loose today. Was it in Virginia? And Maryland. And they found it in Pennsylvania, I guess. It was just running wild, and they eventually got it. But I mean, it's amazing how the internet goes crazy, and we all go crazy for things that are this stupid. And they run away. Let's see here. The Authorities say the system is intended, this is the Blimp system, is intended to watch for and direct fire on incoming cruise missiles and other threats. It can also be used to track ships at sea and cars on land. I'm going to go with the latter there. I mean, sure, it's both, but don't tell me that you don't think they're tracking everything and all your goddamn GPSs and everything. I think that's happening. So I also like this, too, the effort. Let's see. Yeah, it's running a 3-year exercise to test its effectiveness in the National Capital Region. The effort has proved controversial. After 17 years of research and $2.7 billion in funding, the system has been hobbled by defective software, poor reliability, and vulnerability to bad weather. So what you're saying is it's virtually fucking useless. Awesome. $2.7 billion. All right. You wonder why the country's broke. 2.7 billion, 17 years on a blimp that does nothing. In case I'm all over the place here. Like I said, Ryan Mallett, the Texans quarterback, was cut this week. If you missed that, he missed the flight to Miami where they got shellacked anyways. How can you, Ryan Mallett? You know, Ryan Mallett is a fringe NBA player. Well, he doesn't play in the NBA, so that would be interesting. But he is a fringe NFL player. How can you miss the team flight? You're going back and forth as a starter or not the starter, one step closer to being off the team, and you miss the flight. I don't think he ever plays the game again. He was stuck in traffic. Maybe I shouldn't say that because you never know. As long as you can throw, you still got a chance. You still got a punching chance. What a fool, though. What an absolute fool. But it is Thursday. Like I said, normally I don't drink beer on Thursday, but we're gonna throw it to our last pumpkin ale of October, and that is the Wilhelm Scream, and that of course is from Magic Hat Brewing in Vermont. Now I've had this before. It is let's see here, the Call for Fall. I do like the Wilhelm Scream. It's more spicy, but you know what I mean. The pumpkin spices are there. I actually got 2 beers here. Women and children, watch out. 2 beers here because I don't know, because I wanted 2 beers. Get off my back. But I would recommend it. Yeah, I never actually had on the podcast the Dogfish Pumpkin Ale, which is a good one. That is a very good one. And you know what? Let's call it a day here. Well, 20 minutes. I can't believe I talked that much. Okay. So Halloween goes hand in hand with pumpkins, and Halloween is being threatened once again by the lunatics of the world. Now, it looks like the state of New Jersey is canceling Halloween in public schools, if I'm not mistaken, and Newington schools in Connecticut. I mean, there's plenty of them that do it, and the reasons are some people don't participate in it. They can't afford a costume, and it's against their religion. You can't afford a costume, you sleep on a sheet, hopefully, and maybe you have a spare sheet. Maybe you could just, cut some holes in it and you're a ghost. Is it that difficult? If you don't like it, don't participate in it. Asshole. Stay home. Who gives, and people against your religion, there are things in everyday life that are not part of your religion, and that goes for everybody. And if you don't like it, you don't have to participate. Just ignore it, because I thought that's what makes this country great. Look at me on my high horse. I thought this is what makes this country great, is that we're free to do whatever we want without fear of retribution from, well, technically the government, but other people too. I thought this was America. I did, but I guess it isn't. The hell with it. Going to Cuba. Just in case you didn't notice last week, the football picks from the Red Ticket Blues podcast. You guys, I hope you're betting money. 3-0. Okay? 3-0. That's 15-6 on the year. Are you taking advantage of this? I mean, if you're not, then I don't want to hear it when that paycheck isn't what you want. I'm giving you the answers to life's questions here in football form. And what are you doing about it? You're doing nothing. You're nothing. 15-6. And remember, if you ever forget, which is my picks, I do try to retweet it on Red Ticket Blues and at BrianBuck13 on Twitter. So if you ever forget, just go there, follow, and you'll know. So this week's picks, let's keep the good times rolling. 15-6. We're going into week 8. I like the Saints. They're taking on the Giants. The Giants are god-awful. And the Saints seem to be coming on at the right time. When's the wrong time to come on? There isn't. So it's terrible cliche. But they seem to be coming on the right time. They're putting their season back together. And they're playing in New Orleans. I think they're going to get that home cooking back again. It's only 3 points. I like it a lot. The Giants are not a good football team. Yes, they are number 1 in the NFC East. But that really means very little. Very, very little, because every team is awful. So in that game, I like the New Orleans Saints -3. We got Bengals and Steelers, and it is a pick'em. They're playing in Pittsburgh. I like the Bengals. I think, Pittsburgh looked like shit last week. Why is this a pick'em? Is Roethlisberger coming back? That may be the reason. This is why you do research, Red Ticket Blues. It makes a lot of difference. I still like Cincinnati. I don't care if Roethlisberger's coming back. I still like Cincinnati. And the other game I liked was, where is it? I don't know about Atlanta -7.5. I don't know if I like that. I'm gonna take a risk here. So I got New Orleans -3. Cincinnati is a pick'em. I like that. And I'm gonna go risky here. San Diego is getting 3 points in Baltimore. They're going cross country here. Baltimore sucks. Okay, they suck bad. They're tied for the Lions with the worst record in the NFL. I may live to regret this one, but I like San Diego +3. So there you have it. New Orleans -3, Cincinnati in a pick'em, and San Diego +3. New Orleans -3, Cincinnati pick'em, San Diego +3. So that's the podcast for this week. We will have a normally scheduled podcast on Monday and a guest next Thursday, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. I want everyone to enjoy the World Series this week, and we're going to be moving to New York in the series, so I'm talking all this and the game is going on right now. Enough's enough. You can always listen to the show on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, and follow me at BrianBuck13 at Red Ticket Blues. Like the show on Facebook. What else did I miss? Reviews. Whatever way you listen to the show, leave a review, stars, written review. It always helps the podcast. And go ahead and check out the Jeff Pearlman interview last week. I think you'll enjoy it. With all that being said, I am out of here.